You're listening to the RE Social Podcast with your hosts, Andrew and Vince from AnVi Invest. For more information, go to onvinvest.com.
What's up, guys? We got JK in now. He's going to be joining the conversation with Vivek and I. Yeah. Vivek, cue it up. What was the first question? What is the
we were
topic?
talking about, how the economy feels weird, how, unemployment is low, stock market is booming, but everything costs more right now. Inflation, if you look at everything from like food, grocery, to housing, eating out, etc., everything's expensive. So it's like we're living in two different economies. The data is saying one thing, the real world says something else. So what's the problem? Like, what's going on, right? So what I think is all this started around COVID, right? When we started printing money like it's nobody's business.
Oh, man, you went with my answer. All right, cool, go for it.
Right? And we also have this debt and deficit problem, right? We spend like a drunk person with a black card, right? We're sitting on 35 trillion national debt, and then we add 1.8 trillion in debt every year. And this is also in good times. Like right now, economy is booming. We still have this debt. So it's not a revenue problem. And we bring in massive tax revenue. It's just a spending problem. So it's like if the US made 200K a year, we're still maxing out multiple credit cards. So that's the situation we're in right now.
Yeah. What do you think, JK?
I don't know why everything costs so much. I'm just waiting for you to give your opinion on why, in spite of everything costing so much, right? And Vivek, I think that's a great breakdown of it. Why you are still bullish about the US, because that's a conversation we've had this entire year, right? Yeah. And I'm really curious. I actually wanted to hear what Vivek said, and I'm actually curious. I'll throw it back at you. Yeah. What is your opinion about the market, and why are you so bullish on the US, in spite of the data that shows that this spending problem is a deep-rooted cultural habit that will impact the economy and is impacting the economy?
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good question. So I'll start with what Vivek said. And, till 2008, US actually was doing pretty good in terms of money printing and stuff. The feds were not getting involved as much. Okay. So, but then the crisis, with the housing crisis happened, when they're giving all these ninja loans, no income, no jobs, and everybody gets their own. Stripper has like 8 loans. So then that caused everything to crash. And then they had to bail people out. So what they did at that time was they bailed the banks out. So that actually didn't cause a lot of inflation, because there was a big hole, and then they just filled that hole, and then the banks, got covered, and then slowly people got out of it. But what happened in COVID was they did not bail the banks. The banks were not in trouble, right? But they shut down everything. So they had to bail people out. But when you give money to people, what do they do first? They spend it immediately. They spend it, most people, right? But, if we have money, we put it in some stocks, you put it in your investments, stuff like that. But most people spend it. That causes hyperinflation, because everybody's going out and spending money. And like what Vivek was saying, we started doing that for a long time, even though the economy was good. That is not a good move. You can't have stuff be very good and also print money and say we're going to help the poor by doing that, because once you do that, asset prices will inflate, hyperinflate. That's why I remember during those times, I would be like calling you guys like crazy. Just give me freaking money. We need to buy stuff. And everybody was mad. Vivek was mad. JK was mad. I don't know if my family was mad, but everybody was mad, because what I was doing was I was reading all these things, and I could see this storm going to go nuts, but nobody was seeing it. So I was like, you guys are nuts. So I started buying stuff in that time. And then, the asset prices have gone up. So that's one of the reasons that it's happening, is because we print a lot of money and then we bailed a lot of people out. And when you give people paper currency, which doesn't mean anything, and you don't buy assets with it, you just buy watches and cars and stuff like that, you're going to get squashed in the future, because you're continuing to make money in paper, and you're not holding on to assets that's denominated in that paper. So what I do is why, to come back to what you were asking about, why are you so bullish on the US, is I'll give you a very quick analogy. We are on an ocean, and US is the slowest sinking ship. And I chose to be on the slowest sinking ship. Every ship is sinking, and they're faster than the US. But I never said US is not sinking, but it is the slowest sinking ship by a far. Does it make sense?
Okay, Vivek, I have a question for you. Not to take over as interviewer, right? Okay. I agree with the US being a sinking ship. I disagree with the idea, the blanket statements, that every ship is
Yes,
sinking.
I am with you. I'm with JK on that. I don't think I don't think China is sinking per se.
Name a country which doesn't have debt.
It's not about debt.
Oh.
Can you structure that in a different way? What is your definition of sinking?
I'm only talking about like the countries as an empire. Think of it like an empire, and they're printing money and they're spending, right? And they have debt, and they print more money to get out of debt. And then there's a deficit problem too.
Debt is okay. Deficit is a problem.
Yeah, that is okay. So I'll throw it back at you guys. How much debt to GDP does China have? I looked it up last night, so I don't know this like I always know it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just random guess.
What is it?
Random
What is
guess.
it? No, what is it? Tell me.
89%.
Okay.
So they're not in a deficit like Vivek is saying, but it's pretty close. It's close. And what do you think US is at?
What is it?
120.
Okay.
It's not like, oh, we're winning, but it's not. It's bad, but it's like it could be worse. Do you know what's at Japan at? Close to 300% of the GDP, and they've been like that for decades. Okay. What has happened to Japan? I don't know. They're still there. They're still making cool cars. They're still making anime.
They still suffered stagflation for over 30
Yeah,
years.
they have an aging problem.
Yeah, they have an aging problem. The economy didn't grow that much. Like, yeah, they have different set of issues.
Yeah. So you want to say something?
So yeah, I wanted to say that one of the reasons, speaking of printing money, we have the reserve currency privilege, right? With
explain to people what that is.
Reserve currency essentially is that the world trades in USD. So if India buys a barrel of oil from Saudi Arabia, they pay them in USD. They're not paying them in Saudi riyals.
So what happens, JK, when somebody refuses to pay in USD?
When we going according to the US holding the reserve.
Sure.
Vivek and I were talking about one of the problems of the US holding the reserve. Now we have Republicans coming in, we have Democrats coming in. As the US has conflict in their own cultural whatever it is, their behavior with money changes. And their behavior affects the rest of the world. Correct. So it's kind of like you have a country that's holding the reserve that is now spoiled and having an attitude.
10,000% correct.
Yes. Now, I know you like this in your personality because for you, it's just like, well, we have the power. We get to have this attitude. I think the longer term and maybe even short term problem that we don't see is that there is a very strong reaction from the rest of the world towards this.
Very correct.
Everybody knows the US can just bomb them if necessary, which is why BRICS has showed up, right? Which is why China becomes very aggressive. But this is not just on an economic level. It's on a political level. It's on how China chooses to infiltrate the US. And there are a lot of things that I think are happening to the US interests that the general public cannot see. So for instance, if we'd say politically, and again, I'm generalizing here, it's just what I'm seeing, and it doesn't mean it's accurate. When you see the US policy towards other countries now, like Trump that has no business in ASEAN, but he's going to show up there and say stuff, is because there is, maybe not existential, but there's a threat from China in different places. The US knows it. The general public in the US, they don't need to know it. They don't understand that there's a threat and Trump has been informed by intelligence that, China is taking over all of this, and this is the projection. They understand this. What I would say is that us coming from countries where you've seen corruption, when you look at a country and you start noticing a sharp increase in corruption at the highest levels, it's usually because they know something, not just because things are loose. So people at the highest level are going to protect themselves when they know something is coming. So I believe that the reserve thing, it's going to keep the US floating for a very long time, but the impact of it is impacting the US, but it's also forcing other countries to grow. So other countries to go against the US are going to start making moves that, I don't know, I'm not that well versed in it. But when I go to Asia and I see the rise of China and I see the things it's doing for people's lifestyle, how it's pulling a lot of people out of poverty, the number of people who are moving there, because it's just more opportunity for them there. I see that something is happening, something is shifting. I get you're being bullish, but don't you feel that there's a downside for on the individual level?
Yeah. So I want to, you want to say something?
No, go ahead.
Okay,
go ahead.
cool. Yeah. So I want to say 110% of everything you just said is correct. It is accurate.
Yeah.
The only thing that I am trying to educate or inform people is the slide, how slow it is, right? So everything you're saying is true. Like US cannot be number one forever, right? What was before the US? Let me ask you.
In terms of what economy?
The number one economy in the world for the last 300 years before the US.
300 years.
Yeah, it was
going back a lot, man.
No, but it only ended during like World War time. World War II. The British Empire. British Empire. But they're not number one anymore, right? They're in the top 5 still, but they're nowhere close to the US because what did they do? They went to a lot of wars. They tried to over capture the world and they couldn't keep up, right?
Yeah.
So they before that was like, I think it was the French. We had the Portuguese, the Spanish.
There were a bunch of
Ottoman.
different countries, yes.
So what you're referring to is the big cycle, which will happen to the US at some point, right? So for example, the reserve currency we took over from the after the World War II, everybody said.
Yeah.
And at that point, I think 80% of most trades internationally was done in the dollar.
Yeah.
And it's, 1950? It's like almost 80 years later. Do you know what percentage right now it is?
What is it?
It's about 60%.
Oh, it's gone down.
Yeah, it is. It has gone down. So what I'm saying is you guys are right, but it's taken 80 years to go down 20%. And there is not even a competition second thing that's a currency that's floating.
Yeah.
EU is the second one, but it's way lower.
Right.
And then Chinese it's
the yuan,
it's like in the single digit, right? So that's there. So the rate of change is going to take a while. And then even if you're correct, which you are correct, China is going to overtake projected in just 10 years. 10 years, China will be number one. That's what they're projecting because their growth rate is higher than US, right? So that's what China has got going for them. They have 6 to 7% growth rate, even though they're almost 19 trillion, right? And India is the same, but India is only at 4 or 5 trillion. Okay. So India will take 100 years to catch up to the US.
Yep.
But in 10 years, all I'm saying is US is number 2. It's not like it's not number 100. That'll be the worst case scenario for us in our lifetime. There is no way in hell US will be number 3. India cannot overtake US in our lifetime. It is not possible because if they grow out at the same space, which is not possible, as your GDP and your country like becomes like more westernized and more like like a more polished country, modernized, the growth rate will shrink. But I'll give India the same 7%, right? It will take 117 years to catch up to the US, and US only grows at like 1 or 2%. So China will overtake US, which is going to happen in the next 10 years. Okay. India will become number 3, and they have to stay there for a long time. Okay. Unless something crazy happens, BRICS decides we're going to bomb US, like just do all that. But you know what India just said, right? They are part of the BRICS. They said we're not going to compete with the US dollar. We're not going to be down to make another currency. It's already like India's not going to do that because if you fight against the guy number 1, long term, it is very good for all of them. But you're going to have very bad short-term problems. You're going to have submarines and aircraft carriers showing up. They're going to put sanctions on India. They're going to have tariffs but if everybody bands together, it could work. But you know what 2 countries India hate? We don't like 2 countries.
China and Pakistan.
China and Pakistan. You think they're going to sit down with China and Pakistan and create BRICS currency? Hell no, dude. Yeah. And they're very friendly with US too.
Yeah.
They like sense. So
essentially what I was trying to say is
does it make sense?
It makes sense. Basically the US has a cheat code is what it is, right? Economic cheat code. The world needs dollars, right? We need dollars for oil, trade, etc. So we can overspend, borrow, print money like there's no tomorrow, and the world will still buy our debt. If other countries did this, if Italy tried this, it's going to be collapse. Venezuela, Brazil, Argentina, none of these countries can do that because they don't have that reserve country privilege. So it's like being a rich kid who never gets cut off, essentially. So no matter how badly, no matter how badly this kid behaves, he never gets cut off. So there is danger in that.
That's danger. So I wanted to bring it back to what JK said. Was actually a really good point. Was you were saying that all the other countries are watching US and how they behave as the bad kid, right?
Right.
Because at some point, they might all decide and be like, I don't like this kid anymore. And we don't want him to play this game, right? And which is possible. And that's what BRICS is. But it takes a lot, because US is kind of abusing the power, right? They said, hey, Russia, we're going to seize all of your treasury notes, which is another sovereign country, and they just took it. Yeah. And then India's looking at it. They're like, wait, so if we fight with Pakistan, would you just take all of our stuff?
Yeah.
And then, other countries are watching. That's not cool. But they've been able to do it for a long time. They do it on Iran too, right?
Yeah.
So there are consequences if you keep doing this. And but hopefully we have different, government changes and, we become more like accommodative of other countries.
I agree with you on all of that.
Yeah.
And I also agree on the power of the US. Like, for example, what they did once Russia invaded Ukraine, what they did to Russia and the impact it had on the economy. Yeah, it sends a message to everybody like, yeah, we can still screw with you in this way. But again, this is still on a global level, right? The question is, you're bullish on the US. How is the average listener who is listening, who is, let's say, trying to generate wealth, trying to live the American dream, right? Two questions. First is, what is the impact of the US behavior on the US, on just the person who is trying to be upwardly mobile in the US?
Yeah, so if we have inflation and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So everybody knows, $100 yesterday is better than $100 today, and it'll be better than $100, from 10 years ago, right? So, but if you take that same $100 and you compare it to, let's say, the Indian rupees, right? It's way worse. So it is the shortest falling knife. You have to catch a falling knife. The whole world decided we're going to use paper currency, unless you're a Bitcoin guy, then you could get away with it. But everybody is going to use paper currency, and US is the best shitty paper currency by far. So I looked this up for you yesterday. 1985, when I was born, guess what the Indian rupee to $1 was?
What was it?
12 rupees.
Okay.
Guess what it is today?
What is it?
90 rupees.
Okay.
So for example, let's say you say this is just facts. My family has properties in India, right? And we bought it in 2000, and it's been 25 years, right? And we bought it, and in Indian rupees, it's gone up a lot of money. Like it's a lot.
Yeah,
it's gone up, right? I just did the math converting it. It's a $0 net gain compared to the US dollar.
Okay.
So you went to another country, you invested, you're like, I'm so cool. We have all these hotels. We're the smartest hotels, Where you transfer the money back, you're like, wait a minute. Like the dollars is the same after so many years. Buying power is the same. It hasn't gone down, but it's the same. So we didn't gain anything only because the inflation in India versus here, the money printing there, it just didn't math out properly.
Okay.
So you have to be aware of that stuff. So if you say US is not good, where else are you going to invest in Mars? Like, where are you going to go? You know?
That also ties back to what you're saying, right? That's because India is a growing economy.
Yes.
So the rate of growth is going to be higher. So the rate of inflation correspondingly is going to be higher. So you want to invest in economies that have a low rate of inflation, essentially.
Yes.
So I don't know, maybe the EU or maybe there's other countries out there that have a low rate of inflation.
There's no countries.
So you just have to
What country? Give me
do
a
the
country.
math. I don't know off the top of my head.
There's no countries. I looked it up.
Okay, but I know, Vince, what you're saying is it's always on a...
Because you have to do a compared to what math is my point.
No, I get it. I get a compared to what math, but the average individual.
Okay. Yeah.
An average individual, right? I'm not going to do a compared to what math, right? Unless my net worth was maybe, I don't know, over $10 million.
What do you mean? Doesn't make sense. You would do more compared to what
Okay,
math.
you're talking to like the average person,
Average
right?
Joe.
Yeah, the average
Let's
Joe.
say an average guy making $100K a year.
Okay,
Right?
cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is your question?
It's just like, and you're telling me like, yeah, the US is the best place for me to be in. And I'm just like, yeah, it doesn't feel that way for me with 100K. Everything feels like I was making 85K last year. I made 100K. It still feels really tough for me.
Okay. Do you want some tough love? Do you know why it is like that?
Well, I know why it is
Why
like
is
that. But I
not
mean,
you in general, I'm making a generalized statement. You as in a US person.
let's say a person is, okay, you tell me. I'm the average guy. I'm like, why, dude?
Because when you have the 85K, you didn't invest in the assets. And when you have the 100K, you still want to invest in assets. And when you make 200K, you still want to invest in assets because you're playing somebody else's game. You don't have ownership of assets, right? So for example, do you think I will ever be worried about paying rent?
I don't know.
No, I will never be worried about paying rent because I don't pay rent.
Your rent?
Yeah, my rent, like for me. Like
Okay. What are for your assets?
my assets?
The mortgage.
Right? Okay, let me ask you. Do you think rent will go up or down?
I don't know.
It will always go up in the long term.
Okay.
Now, like 1 year to 2 years, you could have some drops. We have had some drops,
Okay.
single-digit drops.
Yeah.
But if you take like a 10-year lifespan, you'll always have rents going up. I'll make it super simple so people listening to can understand too. So So we all agree. Everybody agrees that the U.S. value goes down, right? The paper currency over time because they print more. It's like you have 10 apples and then they gave you 100 apples. The value of apples is low. That's what it is, right?
It's by design.
But I'm taking these apples and I'm buying things that actually matter, like cement, bricks, houses, doors, Bitcoin, whatever, like trains that make money or whatever, right? I buy businesses like yours, right? I buy the business, but I only buy business if it's cash flowing, right? I'm not buying that shit. So you buy these, right? With dollars today, I make today, right? So I bought my house. Let's use my house. Simple math. I bought my house. I was making $100K. I bought $1 million house. Okay. Everybody was laughing, spitting on my face. They're like, this guy can't afford this. Yeah. This is stupid. It's going to crash, right? Yeah. My house is worth maybe $1.5 million now. I probably make 50% more. Okay. Is it easier for me to pay for that house now or when I bought it? Okay. Do you see?
It's easiar now because you have a 30-year fixed mortgage.
It's a joke now because I have a 3.99 fixed mortgage. It's 30-year fixed. Yeah. And I raise rent slowly, but I have to suffer through those initial stage because I'm choosing to suffer through those initial stage because it's not easy to buy a $1 million house when I'm only making 100K. It's very difficult because it's the mortgage is like $6,000, right? That's all the money you'll make, but you have roommates and you do that. But my point is it's always difficult when you do it in the beginning and it takes time. So you have to understand the concept of the paper. So I'm trading the fake paper Obama and freaking Trump giving me, and I understand it's fake and I buy stuff with value. And over time, that stuff will be denominated in dollars, but I bought it with more expensive dollars and I'm paying it with cheaper dollars. So I have $7 million of debt. And that's why I'm rich. I'm not rich because I'm smarter than all of you. I just understand this game and I'm getting in more debt because US has $40 trillion in debt and they will always print their way out of it.
Okay, Vivek, what's the risk in this scenario?
Before we talk about the
risk is nobody pays rent and I'm screwed.
Yeah. Before we talk about the risk, I just want to say, Vince chose to eat his marshmallow later so he can reap the rewards. And going back to the marshmallow analogy, but
I still haven't eaten it. I'm still waiting. Like JK likes to point out, I have no cash flow.
Yeah, I mean, the risk is, as with everything, nothing is guaranteed. The risk is, hyperinflation. If the US keeps printing money the way it's printing, and there could be a scenario where
inflation is a problem for you, not for me. I already own a lot of assets.
Yes, you own the assets, but who's paying rent on these assets?
But I don't have to collect more rent. It's my debt is fixed. I can keep the cheap rent. Everybody's going to move to my house.
I mean,
right?
But I think what Vivek is trying to say is that your numbers are right. Yeah. Your math is right, and eating the marshmallow is a strategy that has been proven to. Eating it later is a strategy that's been proven to work. It's the assumption that on the ground, the people who are going to rent from you, that you're applying the same charts to their behavior. You're applying the same charts to human behavior. You're like, yeah, your chart on everything else is correct, but you're just like, yeah, if it's cheap, everyone's going to come. Now, I'll give you an example. In my business, things have been going well, but suddenly there was a shift. Why? Because not only is there a recession, there's a trust recession. So for a business like mine, suddenly people are not paying as much. Now, is there a way around that? Yes. Is there a cost for us to figure out a way to reach out to the market? Yes. And that cost for us is about $600K so far and counting. And we may need to pay if the trust recession continues into next year for our business. I don't know, maybe it's going to cost $800,000 to figure it out. And there are a lot of micro adjustments that my business has to make. I might think, we just need to change the way we show up to the marketplace. But no, because while we're doing this, there's another thing that we didn't expect to happen. Suddenly, competitors started showing up, right? Yeah. These are things that even though I knew the trajectory of the growth of my business very, very well, which is the reason I've been successful, I could not account for all these other things. So I think what Vivek is bringing up is just like, there's no place where you are accounting, or it sounds like you are accounting, for the impact on the human beings who are going to rent from you. What if you started having those issues and people, what you consider to be a cheap rent, the marketplace suddenly reacts differently?
But see, there's a couple of points for this, right? So your business is, let's just say it's a luxury, not really luxury, but it's an addiction recovery business, right? So if they don't get you, they're just a loser. They have an addiction problem. My scenario is your family is homeless.
No,
it's very different. You need shelter.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. You're saying that your business is a want, not a need. My business, right? You're saying
on the hierarchy of needs.
Yeah, on the hierarchy of
you need
of
water
needs.
and then like
exactly.
food,
But
shelter.
even if people need a place to live, right? Are all your properties designed in the marketplace for people who absolutely need a home compared to, let's say, the Section 8 investor? What if he becomes a viable option for other people, for the marketplace?
But I like Section 8 investors.
I know you like Section 8 investors, but how many of your properties, what proportion of your portfolio is optimized for Section 8?
I sold that portfolio. You had that house.
No, I know I had the house. I'm fully aware of that. But all I'm saying is just like you're using the argument, the generalized argument that everybody needs a home, right?
Yeah.
Which is what is used to bring people into real estate investment, right?
Yeah.
But not everybody needs your home, just as not everybody needs my business. Now, do we have competitors who are doing well? Yes. Those who are doing well are those who insurance covers their addiction recovery. For private pay, at the level I'm at, it's a struggle financially. In your case, you own certain types of property. You're assuming that the impact of hyperinflation on the individuals is not going to have an impact on you. But what if it does? And you also know that in some of your markets, you're just like, oh shit, it's not been that easy to like get people in.
Think about it. So, I mean, I understand your point. It is a pretty good point, but you're still missing that one thing that I'm trying to.
Okay, what is it? I'll listen.
The stuff that I'm trying to say is it's always hardest in the beginning with the business that whatever I'm doing, right? Remember, at some point, this $10 million portfolio will be paid off, right? So it doesn't cost me anything to keep them. So at that point, if rents collapses by 90%, I'm going to still profit, is my point.
How do you mean it doesn't cost you anything?
Because it'll be paid off. There will be no mortgage on it.
What if in the present moment?
But every year, like 1/360 of it is getting paid down slowly, right?
Okay.
So and then remember, I already fixed the cost. My house cannot go up, right? It's already fixed, and my rates are all fixed.
Yeah.
So it is a problem in the multifamily where they didn't fix the rates, so they're getting screwed. Like because of the rents and stuff, they got screwed because the rates went up. They can't afford the mortgage.
Okay.
But our mortgages that we have, they're all fixed mortgages. So that's very important. That's a very important point to know.
In the context of the home, not necessarily in the context of the people.
No, so I'm getting to that. So if I'm the owner, right, and I have my fixed cost, right, I'm not like some douchebag landlord, right? So if I don't have to raise the rents too much, I don't need to because I don't have to, right? I only raise it enough to account for inflation and stuff like that, right? So if my debts are fixed and I'm good, I'm already good, right? Let's just say I'm breaking even. Mm-hmm. If there is hyperinflation, what if I don't raise the rents, right? Mm-hmm. So the people have to live somewhere. It is actually easier for them to live in my house. So let's just say, for example, I have $1,000 rents, right?
Okay.
And my properties, I'm paying it down.
Yeah.
And there's a big problem. There's inflation, like they're printing money like crazy. And I say, guys, I know you have family, you have kids, half off for the next year. You think I'm going to have a problem? No problem, bro. People are going to just live there. So because I have all these knobs I can turn, right? So right now, let's just say I have $7-8 million of loans, right? And let's say it's on average 6-7% interest rate. Interest rate is coming down. What happens when I refinance it down? All my cash flow problems goes away like that, just in 1 second, right? So now, because I have all of those levers, this is what I'm always working on stuff. Because I have all these knobs I'm trying to turn to make the business like more like profitable. But because I am holding assets, my point is I am less affected by these things because I'm already like collecting them and I'm slowly building them up.
Your point absolutely makes sense, Vivek. I'll give you a moment. Let me just make one thing. I think we might be on the same thing, but it's good. But again, when we talk about the average person, right? You started this off with a fact. The reason the person, average Joe, feels that way is because they did not make an investment, right? Yeah. But now when the reality of the marketplace that we're living in shows up, right? The way you're speaking right now is not like average Joe, right? Because what is the cost, right, to turn all these knobs, right? Like you say, like there are all these knobs that you can turn.
Yeah, sure.
You do know people are getting wiped out right now because they don't know how to turn all these knobs.
Well, they don't have the knobs.
Well, they don't have the knobs. They don't have the knowledge for the knobs. They don't have the.
They're not in the game.
They don't have the income for that. They're not in the game. They're not in the game. That's the problem, bro. You have to get in the game to even have this conversation.
Bro, think about it, bro. We are three fucking brown immigrants talking about this stuff. You think these guys, they have it hard? No, dude, fuck them, dude. I came here on a boat. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I get it, but at the same time,
You think
bro,
my family's rich?
it's I absolutely get all of that. My point remains, like, at what cost? Okay, which I think is something that
At what cost to who? To my health or something?
at what cost to any other aspect of your life.
Well, that's the stuff that we spoke about in your podcast, which was the seasons of life. And I chose to make 30s like a hermit, but to build this, you know how hard it will be for me to build this, what I have now? I will die. If I knew all the stuff I knew, I would probably be like, I'm not doing all that. I'll probably do half as much. But, it was like, what is it? Ignorance is bliss kind of deal. I started off.
It works for many of us, but it doesn't change the fact that the economy is what it is today, right? And so, sure, you spent your 30s building something, and now you have something that you can turn the knobs on.
Yeah.
So consider it like I at least have a ship, and whatever, there's a flood, right? Doesn't matter how bad the flood is, at least I have a ship, right?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. But the question is, again, at what cost? Because the flood could be in only one part of the world. You don't have to be here. It could be not flooded in another place. But in your world, you're just like...
No,
if
the
you
whole world is a flood. That's what I'm saying. Well, compared to the currency and stuff.
I'll pass it on to Vivek here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like we discussed before, the whole world is not in a flood. Like
Yeah.
China is doing fairly well. Countries in Asia are doing fairly well.
But you guys are sounding like you're living in like Sri Lanka with 200% inflation. This is the number one country in the world.
Sri Lanka is not China.
Yeah, we're not talking about Sri Lanka.
Well, like I agree, China will beat US, but my point is, US is number 2.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
No, we get that. We get what you're saying on that.
It'll be where China is today. If China is so great, right? You guys are all arguing China's good. Fine, China is good. US will be where China is.
I think that's arguable.
What do you mean that's arguable? This is like facts.
Okay, how will the US...
Because I'm saying India cannot beat US. It is not possible in our lifetime. It will take 100 years.
Okay, my point is this, right?
Yeah.
You keep coming back to the US, right? And
Yeah.
I'm saying you're choosing to play a game in the US. The original question was
We
still...
didn't come here by mistake. I already planned this out.
Yeah, the question was, none of us are here by mistake, right? So we actually
We're in Mexico, by the way. Oh, these 3 douchebags just sitting here pretending like...
You should edit it. It's just like laughs and money.
We're sitting in Mexico City in some fucking penthouse with a piano.
I know the irony of it, right? It is like, you douchebag. Yeah, what are you talking about? The average man, the common man. But douchebaggery aside, okay? The point that I think Vivek and I, we are, and I'm speaking for you here. Tell me if you disagree, right? This is you're the one being interviewed. I just came in for this segment, right? But you're very bullish on the US, right? And we get it in terms of building wealth. If Vivek and I travel, we are at an advantage because we make US dollars. So we get the benefit of being in this country, having a home here. But I think your argument is that you're so bullish on the US that you truly believe that every economy, based on the way you're looking at paper, the experience of those economies is like the experience of, you use the word of Sri Lanka or in India. But you would be surprised to find out that that is not the experience of the individuals in these economies. Like, let me ask you this. What do you think you're like all these, everything's sinking, right? What do you think like a developing country like Malaysia or an Indonesia or some Middle Eastern country, right? Or Georgia, right? What do you think things are like for them on the ground? Like in your mind, what do you think a sinking country looks like? Do you think it's like there's like crime on the streets and you can't walk around at 2 a.m.? Like, because there's an impact of
That's not in every country. I don't think like that.
Yeah, well, there's an impact of hyperinflation in the United States, right? Like, I'll give you an example. Like, I can walk around some areas of CDMX at 3 a.m. and I'm fine. Some areas, not many, okay? The other areas you don't want to walk around.
Well, you can do that in Orange County too.
Right? there are more areas in the US that I would not walk around at 3 a.m. In fact, in general, I would not walk around anywhere in the United States at 3 a.m.
That's just true in every country, but you can do that in India too, certain places.
Yeah, you can do that in India, but there are certain countries that are not like India, that are not sinking.
But you're now talking about lifestyle, right?
I'm not just talking about lifestyle, I'm talking about upward mobility. That there is an opportunity in other countries for upward mobility to grow, to build a business that is superior on an individual level to what is available in the US. And I think that you find that hard to wrap your head around because you're so bought into the idea of the US dollar.
Well, yeah, it's true. I want Vivek to give a chance to.
So multiple things. So I want to go back to when you're talking about your fixed your costs. First of all, when you talk about your mortgage and say you have a 30-year fixed, yes, your principal interest is fixed. But insurance costs, property costs, maintenance costs.
80% is principal interest.
80%, yeah, but they can skyrocket. Yeah. And now suddenly your monthly costs have gone up.
It's much less compared to the principal interest, right?
Sure, it is.
But it is true, yes.
Yeah, it is true. It is, so that's another like caveat you want to mention. And then now going back to what JK was saying, like, yeah, you're right. You'd be surprised by the standard of living some people have in India. Like, one of the measures of like living in a country.
You forget, I was born and raised in India.
Yeah, but still.
I'm
with him on this.
Yeah, so you'd be surprised. Like, if you like as a salaried person, unless you're like a CEO or something, like I have some relatives or like CEOs who are like making great money. They live this standard of living that's comparable to being in the US. In fact, even better because labor is cheap there. So now you have a driver, you have a cook, you have someone to walk your dog, you like someone to clean your car every day. You have all these benefits. So you're living a better life than you would live in the US. And what you have to remember is that in these countries, there's a lot of people. It's like 1.5 billion people in India. And if you start a business there, and if you can satisfy the needs of even a small fraction of these people, you can make out like a bandit. You can live a really, really good life. Sure, the currency, inflation might be high, this and that. But if you play your cards right, and if you invest that money in assets in India, your money is going to shoot up. So like, how you said, your...
But in India.
But in India. And then again, you could also invest...
But if you want to come here with the money, now you're screwed.
Yeah, but you could also invest that money abroad. Like when you're there's no barrier to investing that money. Once you're like making money in India, there is a way to do it. Like I would happily move back to India if I had a business that would help me make the same amount of money that I'm making here. And I could live a really good life. Now, there's factors such as air quality and stuff, which keeps you behind. But discounting that, I feel like you can live a really good life in places like
But you'll
India.
die at 50 because of lung cancer, though.
Lung cancer, yeah. If you lived in New Delhi, if you lived in New Delhi, sure. But, there's certain cities where you can have a really good start. Chennai's gotten better. If you're closer to the water, it's a lot better.
So what is your point? You're saying that you can
the point,
make
Vivek,
it,
is...
Of course, you can make it in other countries, yeah.
Yeah, but this is a real turnaround from what you were saying.
But I'm just saying it's still the easiest to become a millionaire in the US.
I think it's the easiest dependent
if you work
on who you are and if you are working on it. But I also will argue that because what he said about population, right?
Sure.
They are very talented people and even not so talented people who come in with good ideas to other countries and they make a lot of money. I'm not making this argument for the sake of making an argument. Like being in Southeast Asia, I see people who come from China. I see people who come from India. This is not US-backed anything. This is they built their businesses there, right? Some of them were not even servicing foreign investors like that are bringing US dollars in. They were doing things locally there. Whatever it is, they're producing cement locally for local companies. They made their money there. Then they started investing in Southeast Asia. You will see people from China. Like literally, I was just looking at what's his name? Prashant's stories. He was going to Conakry, Guinea. And the only people going to Conakry, Guinea are Chinese. The Chinese are going there and they're going to make money. A lot of times their money has nothing to do with the US. It has to do more with Russian investors who are doing things there. Put that aside. Go to Bali or Thailand or any of the areas that are more luxury and watch people from Russia and from other places that do not have internationally connected money bring their money in there. And they live a very high quality of life, high standard of living. I can't even compete with it. Even if I may be on the same economic bracket with them, if we were to compare it, I can't. They just have more access to more people, to a large, and they're willing to play the game on an international stage. I think one of the things we may not realize is that this is a very capitalistic country, right? But it's also a capitalistic country with a lot of rules. I think another thing you're not considering is that the capitalism that's played in developing countries does not have many rules. It does not have many regulations. So the upward mobility, the ability for you to grow is so much quicker, right? You can start all sorts of businesses that don't really have any, franchise them out. There are not that many regulations, and you grow so fast. I mean, walk into the pharmacy here in Mexico or India. Tell me the drugs you can get. Try do that in the US. Just try doing that. Here to make so much money, just doing that.
I still don't follow the point. Like you guys are saying that you can make it in other countries. Of course, there are billionaires in other countries. Like,
yeah, but
what I'm saying is easiest here.
It depends on...
Again, guys, we're in Mexico. Here means US.
Yeah.
I think it depends on your approach. Like India is a growth market, right? Yeah. So there's a lot of things that are available in the US and not available in India. So if you could... There's so many people who've made it by just literally copying an idea from here and taking it to India and making it. Again, as a salaried person, yes, it's hard to make it. But if you're starting a business, when you have access to such a large population, people who are willing to spend their money, one could argue that, yes, it could possibly, and India has its own issues with
India is like a little bit, you had to bribe and it's kind of like you have to be well connected.
Some red tape, red tape, yeah.
But here I feel like it's kind of like that, but like I did it without knowing anybody, right? Like you could do it here. I like here better because it's like, it's more structured and it's easier, I feel, if you work on it.
Yeah,
I feel most people are lazy and just complaining about stuff. Sure. Your baseline is pretty high here, This
is true. I agree. I agree with that. Yeah. I think into what Vivek said is, I think when you're more entrepreneurial, it becomes arguable. I think when you're more, if you're going to make it, which is, and I understand there's statistics that show that if you're a salaried individual who manages their money well, you're more likely to have $1 million net worth. I know this as a business person that's not a salaried person.
But you say salaried person will have $1 million net worth?
More likely to have $1 million net worth.
In the US,
In the US, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. I mean, many of my clients are millionaires, and they don't run a business.
Oh, they're all just salaried?
Yeah, they're salaried.
But they have to wait like 20 years or something, right?
Some have to, but some of them, they play the game. They went to the right schools. They got the right jobs. They work very hard in their late 20s. And by the time they were in their early 30s, I mean, they're clearing like $400K a year. Right? If they've been investing, they've been doing things right and playing the game, yeah, they're doing quite well. But I think if you're entrepreneurial, the game changes. Like being entrepreneurial means being a problem solver, right? And I think when you live in countries that have all these issues, y'all mentioned the smog, the everything, an equation that you may not be thinking of is that the more problems that they are, the more opportunities that they are. And the countries that have less problems, there's this illusion that, everybody's doing it. There's no point in me starting this idea because there's no point in me doing it, like in the US. So I think there are many, I'll call them micro barriers, not necessarily laziness, because there are people right now who cannot make it in this country. You said, I think people who leave, right, the US and take their money, right, and they go somewhere else because it has a higher, better quality of living, are people who couldn't make it here. Is it possible that some of those people are just smarter?
Sometimes I would say that.
Yeah.
But maybe they're smarter. Maybe they like to travel more. They like different cultures,
What if, I'm talking about the entrepreneurial ones. What if the ones who go over there and they're just like, I can make more money and I can save more money by living here. I can be better connected here. Because there are a lot of smart people who are leaving the US because they understand that the place to be for certain people is Southeast Asia.
I mean, it's okay. Let's just take you, for example, hot take. You ready for the hot take?
Go for it.
It's like, so is it people know you're moving out of here? Or we already talked about it, right?
No, you got to cut it. But I visit there a lot. And
we'll just keep it vague. Like, let's say you're moving to Asia. Let's say Sri Lanka. Like, I don't know. Just whatever, right? Some country which has options. I don't believe it has any extra merits. However, I don't believe that it has any demerits too. I don't know if
extra merits for what? And what?
Let's say you're going there to continue your business or start a business. I don't think it has any pros over the US, but I don't believe that it is any cons either. It's just different. Like you can make it here too. Like it's the same.
No, dude, that's just a way of like.
That's what I think.
No, that's a way of maintaining your point while neutralizing everything that could be argued against you, right? So
No, I really believe that. Like,
well, okay, well,
why can't you?
I'll make it. Yeah, I don't see how that's a hot take, right? Because I disagree with it. I disagree with the fact that you say you don't see that there's any merit. The reason you don't see there's any merit is because you are bullish.
Yes,
on this country.
I am bullish on this country.
That's the thing.
That's why I gave you guys all the facts, but you guys are not giving me back anything.
Yeah, no, I can give you facts. We've been giving you. Our friend is here pulling data for you, dude.
Give me another one that's sinking slower than the US in terms of inflation.
No, instead of jumping back to that for a moment, right? I'll just round this up by saying, like you said, you don't see any benefits, okay? As somebody who has been traveling often to Asia for the past decade and who spent I would say.
But I'm talking purely business, though. You can't come in with the clinic is better. No.
No, I can come in.
But
with
that's
that.
Different game.
No, it is not a different game because what is the reason for going into business? What is the reason for you owning property? Tell me.
I could just do that from here.
No, what is the reason for you owning property? Let's talk about why we do what we do. Why?
To have a better life.
To have a better life.
Yeah.
The clinic is a better life. The friendships you have is a better life. The free time you have is a better life. The food and the quality of the food that will not kill you is a better life. The ability to walk around is a better life. Your mental health is a better life. The security of your family is a better life. The comfort of your family is a better life. Your ability to start a business in a place where you are different to, if we want to go really squeeze into the cracks, is a better life. On so many levels, outside of the power of the US dollar, it is better in many countries today to live the life that people came here for. When we talk about the American dream, the last thing, as far as I'm concerned, that remains is your argument on the reserve power of it. So the dollar has power. There's no doubt about it, dude.
Yeah.
And there are certain pockets of the US where there's a decent quality of life, but many people are being priced out of it due to hyperinflation. But in other countries, the American dream, what it used to be, which it doesn't exist anymore, is far better. They're living in the future, bro.
I haven't been to China yet.
I know, bro.
Have you?
I think I don't need to go to China because China is in the rest of the world.
Yes.
Do you need to go to? You don't need to go to China. Everywhere you go, China is there. Go to Nigeria, China is there.
Irvine's all China, bro.
You're on a Chinese road in a Chinese car using a Chinese phone. Everything is China. China is everywhere, and they are the future, bro.
Number 2. Oh shit! I got you.
I mean, we can checkmate on that note, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to Vivek, man. This is your session, but you know.
Yeah. I mean,
China will be number 1, but per capita is still much lower. India also, we have a lot of people we have to feed, so it's different way of living, standard of living and stuff. You're cutting a lot of the things out and just kind of just massaging stuff because you're going in as a very high income individual. If you're a standard Thai guy, you're a loser. You can't make shit. You're not surviving, right? So you're kind of qualified. You got brains. You got some shit going on. So you're going in. You're cutting everybody because you have.
But so are you.
But I came here as an immigrant, as a loser, poor person. I didn't.
Yeah, but you didn't come here because your parents were average.
My parents are average.
You said there's a loser Thai guy, right? Your parents were not loser Indians. So when you say you came here as a poor this or poor that, you are a product of some level of privilege.
No, I'm just saying if you talk in general terms, you're saying Thailand is better, it's better for you.
Yeah, it's better.
It's not better for everybody.
Yeah, but
India's not better for everybody.
That is the same for all of us here because whether we like it or not, we're speaking. No,
but I'm saying that the bottom here is still pretty good. They're making the poverty line here is what is it, 20 grand? 20 grand is a lot of money in India, bro. You're a kid.
Yeah, it's a lot of.
You got to adjust the purchasing power parity. 20 grand here, your rent is so high, your food is so expensive.
I was just gonna say that
in India. You cannot. It's not the same thing.
It's pretty high, dude.
It's not as high.
Somebody in Thailand.
I'm saying the problems exist in other countries too. You just
we're going super wide, right? And this argument will have no end because then we'll keep cherry picking different demographics, right? If we were just to talk about people who are within our demographic, financially, socioeconomically.
You're saying it's better. Maybe it's better in Thailand than here.
I would say that with the way the economy is looking today, I would say that it is better for some people who are not yet fully established to move to other countries, to start investing in other countries and start looking at it seriously, especially if they're not just looking at the power of the reserve.
I would say, I mean, that's your opinion. My opinion is, you want my opinion? That same person can just start here and they will do fine, is my point.
Okay, let's use me as an example.
Okay.
Or let's use Vivek as an example, right? Oh,
Okay.
but actually, use me because I'm,
Okay.
I'm the person who keeps leaving, right? What is your definition of fine for me? Let's say hypothetically,
I mean, I don't
let's
know,
say
you make
hypothetically,
like
I make $300,000 a year, right? And I decide I want to live off, hypothetically. And let's say I'm like, yeah, I want to live off 100K or 120K a year, okay? Like, how is my life here better than it would be in a Thailand, or Malaysia, or in Indonesia? How? I'll be just fine. What is just fine? Like, do I want to...
Do you have assets here or no in this story?
Yeah, let's say I had assets. Even if I had...
then
Even
you're
if,
fine.
How am I fine?
You have a house, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to go up. You can live off that. It's going to be the same.
Live off that means, like, again, you're still living in a country that has all these other things.
Other issues.
Yeah, that has other issues. What is fine? For you, fine is just like, it's still on paper. Your belief of this is on paper fine.
No, dude, I think the problem I think you guys are having is I'm not stupid. Like, I know that, staying in the garage 12 hours a day is not good. I understand that, gaining weight and just buying all this stuff, just doing all this math, but it is a means to an end. I always have an end game, right? Do you think I'm going to be doing this in my 50s? No, I'm playing this game hard now so I can relax in my 40s. And I've already set it up very good. Like, if I do nothing, I'll be worth like tens of millions of dollars when I'm old. Like, if I just went to bed and I woke up in 30 years, I'll be worth tens of millions of dollars. Nobody else can say that, right? That's because I put in the work. So right now, it kind of like yesterday, you were making a comment on the restaurant. You were saying that, I still have to work 9 to 5 to pay for the stuff because it doesn't fully sustain itself, right? Yeah, but it also goes up by $500,000 a year. It's a lot of money. So I'm doing it on purpose. At this part of my life, I want to do a strong 10, so I don't have to work a 40-year career, right? So it'll be like kind of like I want to just chill a little bit. But I understand right now it kind of looks stupid because I'm like so much pressure. I'm trying to make all these things cash flow. I got to do all this rehab and stuff. But I'm doing that to not be, not having to do that in the future. I'm not eating the candy now. Like, I'm driving a Toyota, guys. Do you think I need to drive a Toyota? No, I don't have to drive a Toyota.
It's an $80,000 Toyota.
I know. You got to give context, right?
Wait a minute. How much did I pay for it, though? Like nothing. Tax credits, guys.
Yeah. No, nobody's arguing or saying that you're doing dumb things, right? But that's
the point I'm making. It's like I'm doing this now as a sacrifice. I mean, you work 12 hours a day, Yeah,
I work 12 hours a day, but I have, like what we talked about yesterday, we can work these hours, but we have flexibility.
Have you thought about investing in real estate and taking advantage of all of those benefits without any of the work? That is something that AnVi Invest not only provides, but has been providing since its inception. With friends and family, we have built an empire and a system of a wealth generating tool that is giving us and our friends and family that leverage in their life to create true wealth. Go to onviinvest.com for more to see if you qualify. And thanks for listening.
So Vincent has given up that flexibility.
I don't need
For
it.
now.
Like for me, I don't want it.
You see, that's the thing.
But I'm trading it for something else.
I think the reason why Vivek and I might be willing to debate you on this is because you are coming from a very unique situation. And you are applying it. You're like, I think people are lazy. I think people are this. People just don't want to sacrifice.
Yeah.
But the truth is that not many people want to sacrifice. Some people want to get married. They want to have kids. They want to do these things earlier in life. They want to experience things. They want to support other people in their life that are living in this country, not living in another country, not people who have other assets or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I think your position is, I won't even use the word privilege, it's a rare position to be in. And it's for a
Because
rare...
I don't have to support people, you're saying?
No, because
kids?
you are willing to make a lot, the cost of flexibility, the things you're giving up, you're willing to give them up to the point that you will not even consider them. As a matter of fact, you do the
temporarily is the
opposite.
main point, though.
Well, I think that's arguable. That's arguable because you
Bro,
are
I've been
also...
to 6 countries in 1 year. That's enough for me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's enough for you because that's all you know.
But that's all I want right now.
That's all you want because of who you've conditioned yourself to be.
No, bro, because I'm building something none of you guys will fucking ever build. That's why.
I mean, you're building it.
Yeah.
None of us will ever
Yeah.
build. But the truth is, do you think that everybody else out there cares that if they were to go to sleep and wake up 30 years later, they'll be worth tens of millions of dollars? Do you think they really care?
But okay, let me ask you this. Do you think I really care
Of
what they think?
You don't care what they think.
Exactly.
You don't care what they think, but you are still pontificating about what other people, like, this is the reason why other people do this. This is the way the US is. The US is made up of many individuals, dude. But at the end of the day, it still comes back to you going like, I don't really care what they think. Like, this is my opinion at the end of the day. This is my life. But that makes you unrelatable to most people.
The guy who came on a boat with nothing is unrelatable.
It's
to
not
most
that.
people?
You're cherry picking. It's not the guy who came on a boat, I'll remind you, with nothing.
Yeah.
It's the guy whose parents gave him the opportunity to come here. And it's the guy who came here and chose to do all of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Which is not the same as other people. Both of us are immigrants. We're not doing that. Most immigrants are not doing that.
But you
As a
don't
matter of
want
fact,
to do
we've
it.
Sorry?
You don't want to do it.
It's not because we don't want to do it. It's because we are prioritizing many other things in life. And my point is that there are more of us, way more of us than there are of you.
Yeah, there are more cool people like me. There's less cool people.
Again, that's
because
the way,
I'm a unique individual.
Yeah, that's the way.
Yeah.
That's the way you're seeing it. But again, unrelatable to most people. So you know what ends up happening, which is what you want. I know this is what you want. It means you are taken care of, and your immediate circle is taken care of.
Exactly.
And that's it. But you know what that also means?
Yeah.
It means that your influence outside of real estate on the rest of the world, on lifestyle, on relationships, of quality of living, of health, is irrelevant.
But that's not my focus right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's not your focus. But again, when you speak, you also have to realize that your audience you're speaking to is also thinking of those other things. They're not just thinking of just like, oh my God, how do I just get a whole bunch of real estate, blah, blah. So you will only speak to people at a point in time when that is important to them, right? But aside from that, they're not interested in anything.
Yeah,
else.
my audience is very fixed. I teach people, keep your job, don't fucking quit your job, listen to some moron online, be like, I'm going to travel the world and be poor forever. Minus keep your job, keep building wealth, like kind of like what Vivek does.
Yeah.
And then, eventually you'll have the platform to do that. I have a platform. I could just bail right now and I'll be fine. I'm choosing not to do it. I don't have to work 90 hours a week. I could just live in my $1 million home for free forever. It's taken care of already. Now I won't be able to travel the world and enjoy and do as much because I won't have a lot of cash coming in.
Yeah,
right?
but you won't want to.
But I don't want to because that's not something I want today.
Yeah, but
it
you
might once-
do know there are other people, right, out there.
But it is set up.
Yeah, it's set up, dude. I could, this is another argument that I've not gotten into because I didn't want to put it on a podcast. I could also sit and do nothing.
What is that?
I could also sit and do nothing.
But what would you?
And I'll probably have more cash than you because I only talk about the income that comes in now.
But you have to work to make income.
No, I don't. What's my product?
Coaching?
Yeah. My product is coaching and the coaches.
Yeah.
I don't have to coach. I coach once a week. That's it. Now, do we have monthly recurring income from our clients? Yes, we do. As long as I have coaches and as long as I have a monthly recurring income, I will always have a distribution.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can I work 5 hours a week? I literally can. Am I still going to make good money? Yes. Am I still going to be able to travel? Yes. Now, maybe I won't stay in a few places, but I will certainly be making more money than you are. I could also adjust more.
I just told you, I made $500,000 by jerking off all year last year.
Okay.
How many hours do you have to work to make $500,000? You can never do that.
No, I make more than $500,000 by doing nothing.
But where is it?
Because our monthly recurring revenue is over $1 million. It's over $1 million. I only talk when I talk to you. Listen. Monthly recurring revenue is like what do existing clients pay?
Yeah.
Right. Again, hypothetical across different businesses for the purpose.
But you have
of
to pay
this.
taxes. They'll take half of it and all that stuff. Right? It's a different game, dude. You're playing a different game.
No.
You're playing active income game. I'm not playing that game.
I'm playing active income game, but the argument I'm making is that there are entrepreneurs out there who are playing what you call an active income game that don't have to work as hard as well. Right? But we get the flexibility of a lifestyle you don't.
But what I'm saying is you're not that individual.
What do you mean you're saying I'm not that individual?
You're not that individual
Why?
who's making millions of dollars not working.
I did not say millions of dollars. I'm saying that you asked me where does the money go.
But I can also say the same thing. Oh, Grant Cardone is doing, some bullshit.
We're not talking about Grant Cardone. We're talking about you and me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're talking about flexibility and other aspects of lifestyle, right? And my point is that your way is not the only way, but there are many people who are like me who have that opportunity and will have flexibility. So I agree with you on one thing.
Yeah.
You understand your niche and you're speaking to a group of people who they keep their regular 9 to 5. They sacrifice heavily for a short period of time in the hope that they are going to end up in your situation, right? Now, the truth is, if they knew how much you were sacrificing, would they do it? Probably not.
That's why they're poor.
Well,
that's my point.
Again,
and you can choose to be poor is my point too.
Well,
be poor,
they're poor,
travel
but
the world,
again,
have a good time, stay in hostels, have a good time.
But that's an absolutist way of thinking about it.
Well, if you want to go extreme, you got to do that.
Well, there are people who can do it Vivek's way or people who can do it my way. My point is, the only argument I'm making here is that other people have more flexibility, and your way of doing what you're doing may create way more wealth than us, but it has less freedom. That's the only thing I'm saying. I'm not saying it's not a great way to make wealth. I'm not saying it's probably a superior way to generate wealth. It's probably a smarter way it's a more secure way to generate wealth. But in the grand scheme of the human experience, there is no way that it is superior. Because what you are giving up is you are giving it all up for like the security of wealth.
But I think you're missing one main point is that you probably know this already. If I say you're probably going to laugh is I like this. It's not like I'm not forced to do this, right? I'm not a slave trying to do this for somebody, right? I'm doing this on purpose because I like the game. It's like we were playing Age of Empires. We don't play it anymore. Why? Because we're doing it in real life, right? I mean, this is the game I chose to play. I like this game and I'm very good at it.
I know you like the game, but do you like your life?
I do like my life, actually.
Do you?
Yeah, I do, actually.
Do you love your life?
I do, yeah.
Okay, what do you love about your life? Serious question. Not trying to be sarcastic.
Yeah,
I really mean it. That's your friend.
I like being able to help other people and, you can teach other people how to do it. And
outside of business?
Outside of business?
Yep.
I travel, I do stuff. I don't know what. But for
do you
me,
not know what? No, I'm very, very serious question, dude.
For me, for you guys are thinking of like work and like play. For me, work is play. This is not like some cool thing I just made up to sound cool. I actually like doing this.
Vincent, work is play for me too, and work is play for you. We're very passionate about what we do.
We're all passionate about our
work. We
work.
can all do it for 14 hours a day. We love it.
Yeah, sure.
We love it. But my question is, outside of this stuff we love that we could do from morning to night, and we actually do from morning to night, to be honest with you, right? All of us work today. Outside of that, what is it that you like about your life? This is an honest question, right?
I have good friends. I have good family. I like hanging out with them, spending time with them, talking about stuff, building stuff together. But, it's like kind of intertwined with my life, like what I do. I'm always like that.
I know you're always like that, dude.
Yeah.
But don't you feel, right, honestly, right, don't you feel that if the work was removed, if that part of the work was removed, the real estate part,
I think my purpose will become very diminished if that is the case. Because
what do you think it would feel like to not have that?
I would have less purpose in life because I don't have a family and stuff, right? So I got to find something to do.
Do you feel like not having a family was a sacrifice on the way to doing what you did?
100%.
Cool.
In my 30s.
In your 30s, right? Now, is it fair to say that there are some people who can get wealthy, but they don't have the level of intelligence you do, which means they're still going to make it, right? But is it possible there are some people that they start investing in their late 20s or early 30s, but they actually don't make it to a level close to yours till they're much later in life?
Okay.
That's possible, right?
It's possible.
Yeah. So do you feel that will take away massively from their happiness? Because in your case,
I don't think it has anything to do with happiness at all.
But that's what we're just talking about right now, right? Like in terms of purpose, you don't have a family, right? Mm-hmm. For a lot of people, family is very important. Yeah. Certain relationships are very important, right?
Sure.
And for you, it's okay. You're like, I sacrificed my 30s, so I can do it in my 40s, right?
Sure, yeah.
But other people might not have that opportunity, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But your price is the price that has to be paid to be at your level, right?
Yeah.
That means that you cannot be flexible for a very long period of time if someone is to follow your path. and literally asking.
But they don't have to go as crazy as me. You could be like Vivek.
Right? Yeah, but we're not talking about being like Vivek. We're talking about being like you, your path, the path you teach, right?
But I don't teach this. I just tell them to be like Vivek. Actually,
I know, right?
I tell them because that's more realistic.
It's really good deflection, but it's a contradiction to what you just said and how strongly you feel about it.
Because I'm very I have very high conviction. I'm very
but you have it's
crazy.
good, dude. We're your friend because you have high conviction. We all give you money because you have high conviction,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
It's made you wealthy, but at the same time, you have high conviction, and again, that's what I'm saying. Your high conviction, the bullishness, your belief about things, to the exclusion of everything else, is you living in your world, and there's a risk to it. The risk to it is that you get asked a question like the one I asked you right now about other parts of your life that forces you to step out of the one thing you're highly convinced about. The moment you step out of that room, there's a little bit of uncertainty. So you're very we can't challenge you. Like we're just like, you know it, right? So we know we're not going to win. It takes two of us to even do an argument because you're that convicted, which is amazing, right?
Yeah.
But step out of your world into the rest of the world, brother. And you don't have that conviction
about the other areas of my life is what you're saying, right? But it's just this is a therapy session for people listening.
Right. I was just going to say this just turned into a therapy session really fast.
I would say that's what happens when you talk to a coach. But I would say that's the price you have to pay to be at my level. And if you want to be this way, this fast, this is the option.
Do you agree?
I don't agree.
What?
There's a person with a W-2 job could overtake you, like really fast. Someone at Facebook, like that.
But you think they're hanging out, having a good time, or they're working 18 hours a day?
No, they're not working 18 hours a day, dude. You'd be surprised. Have you met people who live in San Francisco? Like all those tech bros?
Have you met the tech bros from Amazon?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, guys. I mean, if you keep going this ladder, you can eventually
It's not a
reach
ladder.
Elon
No.
Musk.
These are like,
lots of that.
There's a lot of that, and that's the reason. There's like my neighbor's friend, his net worth just hit 40 million because he works for NVIDIA. Because he got all these stocks.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah. There's other ways to do it.
But that's like a luck draw.
It's not.
It's not a luck draw.
It's not a luck draw.
We are all playing more of a luck game than they are with real estate.
They all they need to do is get a degree in software engineering, to study AI.
Between all of us, who has the most patterns?
Who has the again?
What has that gotten me?
It is the industry that
you're lucky.
Go ahead.
No, it's the industry. It's the software industry.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like my sister's friends, they're like drawing 7-figure salaries from tech country. I mean, granted, they're like 10 years older than me, but that's the level they're at. They're all like deca millionaires.
Yeah, but I'm not on that level.
You're not on that. But the point I'm trying to make is that you don't have to make that deal with the devil. There are some people who are like, I'm going to get a CS degree, or I'm going to get an MBA from an Ivy League school. I'm going to be like a corporate shill, and I'm going to make $500,000 to $1 million a year and call it a day. Like, I don't have to
But I don't have that card to play.
You don't have that. So that's the point.
Yeah, so I have to do what I can do with what I have.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I'm. So that's all.
Does it make sense?
That's the choice you made.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, because I want to grow as fast as I can. I don't want to keep doing this in my 50s.
Exactly. But again, it's the choice you made. And I don't think you fully understand the price. Now you understand like what you're doing, and you understand what you're going to gain in the future. Sure. But Vivek's point is the future is not guaranteed. So like you're like, I don't want to be doing this in my 50s, but you don't know what's going to happen. Let me just give you one quick example, right?
Sure.
The moment we enter into our 40s, one of the things I didn't think about is as I got into my late 30s, I started seeing all kinds of things happening. I started like parents, aging, all these things. The world still moves.
Yeah.
Our bodies still age. Our brains are wiring in a certain way. Our interests and the level of dopamine we can release to enjoy things changes drastically. But when we are hyper-focused on something
Does it give us more dopamine or less?
Less dopamine. Everything is less, bro. Less testosterone, less dopamine, less muscle, less everything, and more of everything bad.
More fat.
Yeah. If you're excited about that, right? But my point is like there are all these things that are happening, and we are so focused on something in the future that we don't know what we're missing in the present moment. And there is a price in the present moment that is extremely high when we are hyper-focused. Now, I've been through my moments of hyper-focus to build something, but I've been fortunate enough because I forced myself to be flexible, go to different countries, look at family, and watch other people around me. And I started thinking, I was just like, yeah, I want all of that. But do I want it at the cost of all of this now? Even though all of this now is for a short period of time. What I decided is I still want to be up there, but not at the cost of everything now.
Okay, let me just...
I got one more thing.
Okay,
Another cost.
Second
is
therapist over there.
I moved to the West Coast like 2.5 years ago. You haven't had the time to come and visit me yet, even once, and enjoy. Because you're so hyper-focused on what you're doing. Yes, I've come to visited you multiple times.
Yeah.
But I'm like, dude, just come, hang out. Let's just go hiking. Let's go do things. But you're so hyper-focused and you're missing out on these
I was
beautiful
going to come
years.
during the summer, right? But
Then something happened. You just got busy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So we're missing out on these best years of our lives. Like soon I'll get busier. Like if I have a family, like things might change. And then we just missed out on all of that.
I think we're fortunate.
We can still do it.
Yeah.
We are fortunate. Like Vivek and I we were going for a run this morning, and he was saying how I think he already expressed this on this episode, how he's very thankful that we have this friend group, right?
Yeah.
But when you actually think of it, the chances of us having a friend group that is able to afford to travel to different places, right? Prashant excluded, but he's still gonna make it, right?
He's coming tonight, right?
Well, I mean, and again, he lives an amazing life. He's probably one of the most unique Indian individuals on the planet, and that's saying a lot because there's a lot of Indians out there, right?
Oh,
yeah, but to have friends like this particular group that's able to do this, we are so lucky. Because what would you do if you didn't have this friend group and you still chose to go this route? Well, first of all, we know you wouldn't go this route if you didn't have this friend group because we all encourage each other, right?
Yeah.
But imagine, you say like, yeah, I travel, I can do all of these things. You know damn well you're not going to travel nowhere without this group, dude. Not anytime soon. Maybe in your late 40s or 50s.
I'll probably travel less for sure. But I would have, as soon as I got my green card, I would have traveled. The main reason I didn't travel was the green card.
Do you think you would have had all the experiences you had now?
No, because it's different with friends.
Exactly. It's different, but again, you're fortunate to have friends like this. My point is that you're fortunate because if you did not have this, there's a very, very high chance that when I asked you that question about when you step out of that box of what you're focused on, you would have even less things.
I think that the issue for me is I'm in super deep and I'm responsible for a lot of money for a lot of people. And that's something that you guys are just not taking into account. If I am not like this, it's bad news for a lot of people.
And finally, after how many hours you become vulnerable about the whole point we're making, about the true cost of what you're doing.
What?
Right? Now,
people's money?
I'm not responsible
Yeah.
for a lot of people. And even if I grew my business to $15 million, I'm only responsible for payroll, but I have the flexibility running a business to make sure that my payroll is covered. Right? I'm not saying it's any easier.
Mm-hmm.
I've had my moments where I'm just like, I'm not sure I can make it to a trip because of payroll issues, right? But it's not really payroll issues. It's just like, I don't want our OPEX accounts to be empty, right? So again, what you just shared right now, the level of responsibility you've chosen to take on is now the audience knows that, whoa, so it's not just about being hyper-focused and building a future where I'm free to do everything and I have wealth.
Yeah.
You didn't mention that there's this immense pressure of the responsibility of other people's money that is weighing on you. Now, are most people going to be willing to do that?
No, nobody would do that.
Exactly. And that invalidates everything because it's not about people being lazy. It's about people choosing like, I want to be wealthy, but I do not want to take on that level of responsibility. And his point is, you can be extremely wealthy, 100 times wealthier than you, without having to do any of that.
But I don't have that option, and
you do. You have the option.
I don't.
But no, you do. But you've chosen this path, and you've doubled down, and nobody will convince you otherwise, and we know that. But we just will still tell you.
I can't go to NVIDIA and make 7 figures.
You don't, dude. Your world is so.
But I could make more money if I went to.
Dude, your world is so limited that the only examples you will give are the ones we drop for you. If we don't give, if he didn't say NVIDIA, if I didn't mention Amazon, you're not going to know any others. You know why? Because you're so locked into your world. So you don't have any of those options. That's my point, right?
And you got into real estate because I introduced you. Like, what if I didn't exist? You would have figured something else out.
I would have figured something else.
You were always going to be successful. Yeah.
You would be running some other business, and then you
guys will say this business sucks.
Exactly. Not that it sucks, but we would be saying that this is all you know now. What about real estate? You'd be like, I don't know anything about real estate.
Yeah.
Wait, real estate is like, dangerous or whatever. It's like
I'm
unpredictable.
just doing the best thing I could do with my time, guys. That's all it is.
What if you're doing the best thing that your personality and your internal makeup knows?
What do you mean?
What if like this is your personality? Like literally the things you say, like, yeah, hyper-focus, like this is like you've convinced yourself that this is my purpose and this is what makes me happy. And you're like, yes, but it does make me happy. Oh, it does make me, okay, cool. It does make you, only you will know that, right? We won't know that, right? But what if there was a possibility that your personality could shift a little bit and you would see things in a different way? Because I've always been a hyper-focused guy, right? When you were fresh off the boat, I already was recruiting and running a business.
Sure.
Right? I've been hyper-focused for most of my life. Now, I do not have your net worth, that is for certain, but I have flexibility. But I'm quite well off. But I have opportunities. But I have my health. In fact, I have a lot of opportunity and flexibility in my life. But how did I have this? Okay. At a certain point in my 30s, my point is this. At a certain point in my 30s, I was just like, bro, if you keep going down this path, you're going to have nothing. Like I was thinking like, one day I'm going to have kids. One day I'm going to do this. I realized none of that stuff was going to happen, dude. I was not going to travel. I was not going to live in another place. I was not going to do I was just fooling myself. Yeah. It was not going to happen. So I made a choice to change it. And my point is this. I am so much more happier for it, which is the ultimate thing. And my family likes me more. And I actually like the world more. The world is no longer such a small, weird place, right? And I'm less defensive about my business and other things. I'm defensive about my lifestyle and the choices I make, right? Yeah, but I would say, like, if I was to get competitive with you, right? And we were to take what I'm teaching, my philosophy of life and yours, and we were to just sit and talk about it to the world, the truth is most people would come to my lifestyle before they came to yours.
Because yours is more flash and mine isn't. And
it's not about flash.
It is flash.
It's not flash.
Flexibility.
See, you're calling flash what you see, you're calling it flash. In your world, in the corner that you're in, which is wealth, you think everything else is flash. Right? You think staying in certain hotels is flash, or going to a beach is flash, or being with beautiful women is flash, or having a six-pack is flash. Those are not those are just what people who are living their finite life do, right? But for you, it's flash. No, it's what people want. It's what the world wants. People want security, dude. They do. But they don't want only security.
Sure.
The question, the thing is, like, how much of only security and wealth and all of this do you have?
I think you guys are seeing like an aspect of what I do, but if we go along the same train of thought that I'm intelligent or some bullshit, which I tell Vivek all the time. You know who the dumbest guy is in the group by far?
Me.
No. Let's just say full Indians, not half Indians, right?
Okay, among the full Indians.
Among the full Indians is by me by far. It's not even close. I'm not even a close third. Prashant and Vivek are like super high. But where I come in is I would say I'm more like a problem solver, like a street smart kind of guy.
And he's also, he has a lot of grit, right? Like success is a function of intelligence and grit. Yeah. So what you don't have in intelligence, you can make up for in grit, and vice versa. Prashant is so damn smart. He's like way smarter than most people I've seen. Yeah, and you've probably seen that when he came into your book selling thing. But his grit is so low. He gets bored really, really fast. So that's the trade-off you have. And so if you meet someone who has both, they're going to be super successful. But that's super rare. Yeah,
that's true. So my point I was trying to make is so you guys are seeing a lot of the stuff. So when you comment saying that, I'm kind of like stuck in this thing, it's very hard to get out of it. It's kind of like a child talking to me, because I just told you I have $8 million of loans. If I refinance my portfolio 2 points, I make more than I make in an entire year working full time. So I will just retire next year if that's what I want to do. So you guys, you don't even know how that is possible, right? Because that's the game I'm playing.
We know how that is.
I'm playing a very different game.
We understand you're playing a different game, but again, we're saying that like the flexibility.
But that's just wrong. I'm out. If I refinance my portfolio, 2 points.
Yeah, but these are all hypotheticals, Vince.
These are not hypotheticals. This is bound to happen.
It will happen, but are you going to do it?
What do you mean? I will do it.
No, are you going to do it now?
Well, he has to wait for the rates to fall.
The
I know,
rates has to drop,
and
right?
yeah, still, it's part of the game he's playing, right?
That's part of the game.
But yeah,
my point is,
yeah.
if you say that I need the income from my job, I have a green card, right? So I don't even have to work, right?
Yeah.
So if I get that, I'm saying I'll make more money than working full time for the whole year. There's thousands of hours, right?
Yeah.
By just clicking a couple of buttons. Nobody else can do that.
We
But
understand
I'm
that.
setting it like that.
Yeah.
I'm setting it up like that.
We understand
you can sit
that.
and talk about all these stuff that, all these things is stressful and all that stuff. But you haven't seen the end game yet. The end game is pretty strong.
Well, let's say I don't understand the end game in the numbers part because I'm not smart in numbers, okay? But if I was to just say like the way my stupid brain understands the end game is that you will have more or less, in my hypothetical world,
Yeah.
unlimited wealth and you won't need to work at all. And you will have as much freedom as you want,
Yes.
right? When is the end game?
I feel like I'll get bored immediately as soon as that happens.
Yeah, but when
I'll probably do something else.
when is the end game though?
It could be next year,
Or it could be,
maybe 3 years.
okay.
Because the interest rate cycle is not very long.
Okay. And
So it's
let me
gonna go
ask you this. What is the superiority of your end game to that of somebody who, let's say, enjoys their job, works a couple of hours a week, and after taxes takes home like $1.2 million?
There is no superiority. It's just a different game.
Okay. So
I don't have that access to that game.
Okay.
You're saying I do, but in my brain.
So
it's not.
I guess maybe we can
Yeah.
just say this, just so I understand it, right? Because I'm not trying to like show that I'm not saying what I'm doing is superior. If I was on the hot seat like you are, it'll be a whole different game, right? Because then you can hit me with a lot of things like, what's your investments? What's this? I'm fully
No, we're
aware
not
of
playing
that.
game, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm glad we're not because I think I'll look like an idiot on the podcast. So if both of you, I guess I'd be dead. I'd be like, you know what, guys, get out of my house. Right. But no, with that being said, is it fair to say that you have chosen to make incredible sacrifices in your life, okay? And you found a game that's worth playing for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are people there who don't need to play the game at your level. Let's say you're playing the game at a 10.
Sure.
But you're just like, most people would be happy if, and really fine, the average person, you're not average, right? Average person would be fine playing the game at a 6 or a 7.
Yeah, for sure.
So they could have what Vivek has or what I have or some combination of those things and also have
An
a little
average
bit of what you
person,
have.
If they did everything right, they could maybe be Vivek. That's the best case scenario. You have to do everything right. Fucking sit around and do the credit cards and the freaking Roth match and the thing and that. That's just like playing everything to the max. I can't be like that. That's too much for me, right? I'm doing like, I want to do big picture stuff. I want to buy millions of dollars of real estate and sit around and run your life with the taxes and his life and my sister's and Drew's family. That's what I like doing. And that is enjoyable for me because I am more effective like that. Right now I've been like stressed out because I'm helping with management with Drew because he's opening up a second school. So that's been a little stressful, but that, I think that is the best effective use of my time, outside of my day gig. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. It makes sense.
Nice. What else you got? You got something else?
What else do we got?
Hot seat over. Therapy session done.
I'm out. No, I'm kidding.
That was pretty good. Yeah.
I wanted to take it.
people to.
I think I wanted to take
learn.
it to the natural conclusion. I wanted to see like because we've not been able to go all the way because you have to go somewhere. I was like, let's go all the way to the bottom and see what this is about. So I'm glad we finally did that, right?
Yeah, you don't have to go as deep as me, guys. People listening, if there are people listening still.
Yeah.
It's just insane. But it's you trade something for something else. If I am gone, a lot of people close to me are like, they're pretty taken care of. And the longer it takes for me to go, I mean, everybody else will be super wealthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the game.
I will say that's the noble and compassionate part of it is that there are a lot of people, myself included, right, that would not have been introduced to certain things, and some even better because of the sacrifice you're making.
You know, there's something that we haven't talked about on the podcast, which is pertaining to you. And this was a really good lesson for me. You probably, I don't know if you remember, but remember the crazy times. It's maybe 2020.
Probably shit on you on something and you made a decision in your life after me shitting on you.
Yes, something like that. It's like 2020, 2021. Everybody's yelling at me. Vivek, all my close
Still
friends.
yelling at you, bro.
Yeah, still yelling at me. But now it's different. I'm like, now I get it. But back
you're
then-
rich.
Because back then I'm doing the same thing. Now you guys are critiquing me, right? And I'm like super rich, and you guys are still like, fuck you. So back then I wasn't super rich, but I've had it in my brain that this is the best case scenario for all of us. So I'm trying to gather everybody's money and buy stuff. And then I called you and you said, you know, your problem is, Vince, do you remember?
The one about your about your W2? No,
Nah, it's
I
not
don't
about
remember
W2.
this one. Go ahead.
You said your problem is I'm your only rich friend and I'm your only option. So even though this makes sense, I'm not going to do it because I'm your only rich friend. You need to go out and find more people because there's lots more people who give you a lot of more money, and you shouldn't be just coming to me. I think that was the last time I talked to you about that.
This is true. Actually, now I remember. I told you this because you were like, you knew we're close. I would tell you about how I was doing,
and,
how much I
and
was
he was
making.
right. At that point, you were making way more money than me.
Yeah.
And you had money, and I was like, we need to buy this shit. And you didn't. But you were right. But that was to your detriment. Because you were right.
I was
because you were right.
Yeah.
Because what happened? Did I buy all the deals I wanted to buy? Yes, because you were right. So I was able to do it, and I got people involved, and I was able to build it. And I didn't have my sales skills and stuff primed enough. So, but I still don't have it because that's my style. My style is fuck you, give me money.
I will disagree just on one thing, just not to interrupt you.
Yeah.
I still think you're great at selling.
Oh,
right?
really?
I think you have your own style, and even people don't listen to you randomly. And we're not just giving you money because you're a friend and blah, 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 blah.
I think
blah,
it's partly because of my friend.
yeah, there's the trust thing there, but you make good points. And we're just like, you know what? I'm pretty convinced. I better, like, you're the type of person, I'll say this, man. You're a sure thing. So no matter what we say to you, right? The fact remains that you are convicted about this 1,000%. And people will
I'm going down with the US dollar ship.
yeah, but that means everybody will put their money behind you.
Yeah.
Because you're the most convicted of all of us. Why wouldn't we invest
Even
with you?
Trump
like,
will be
I'm still gonna give you money after this.
But it makes sense, right? Because at that point, it wasn't primed enough. So, like for people who are listening, trying to raise capital and stuff like that, I would say is, I read this somewhere, it's not me. They said it's easier to make your business people, your friends, than trying to make your friends your business people. So it's harder to convince. But the problem for me is I am not as convicted to help people I don't know. So it brings the joy way down. So even if you come to my meetup and I have to spend a lot of time with you and see if we vibe and stuff, and then I'll invest because we have a 8-figure portfolio, right? Drew and I and my sister own, Drew's family and my family own almost 75% of it. And then the rest are owned by you guys. And then there's like a couple other people. So that's pretty crazy. Nobody does it like that. This is like some insane shit, like only like some psychos would do. Yeah. Cool. What else you got, Vivek?
I think that's all I got. Like we went into this, tangent. Like,
Tangent on all the world economy and stuff.
Sorry to hijack your stuff, man, but I think it's for me it was worth it to get
totally worth it. Yeah, almost
to get Vince where we got you at, and to come full circle to just realize, bro, that at the end of the day, man, like even let me sound like Drew. Not to make this about me, but
let's talk about your music school.
Drew.
Yeah.
No,
and then he talks for the next 20 minutes about music school.
Yeah, it's just I'll say this. Those who are listening, like I think many people don't know how far back we go. So I get, like, you're not going to let anybody talk to you like this. You just punch them in the face. Oh, you just walk out. It's like a waste of your poor walk.
That's true, guys.
But
you can try. Come to my meetup.
we've been through a lot of stuff. We've been poor together. We've been eating $1 McDonald's meals.
Hey, remember that Hungry Man
meals
With the little brownie in it?
Yep.
Dude.
Like, my mouth is watering now, but that will kill me. That would freaking kill me, dude.
Black plastic that you
Put it in the microwave, all that stuff. Probably what's going to kill us is the stuff we ate back then, dude.
I know, dude.
But I mean, we've come from. I think sometimes people like we're sitting here in a beautiful home in Mexico City, and all these things. But people, if you come to a financial reboot and you hear Vivek's story, you're like, damn. You hear this guy's story, you're like, damn. You hear my story, you're like, actually, the story of everybody in our group.
Yeah.
Everybody grew up with more or less nothing.
How do people get in touch with you guys about the financial reboot? Is there like a website or something?
Well, Vivek has his own program, actually. He's just partnering with me. What's your program's name?
Yeah, so it's Millionaire Blueprint.
Okay.
Where essentially I'm trying to help young people, young professionals who are just starting out. They got their first day job. Hopefully they're making in excess of $75K a year, and they're trying to figure out where to put their money and how to set up their 401k, how to set up their Roths. Like I mentioned before, you want to start in your 20s, because if you start 10 years late, you've already lost like $500,000 plus, assuming, you're putting in $500-$600 a month. So it's super important to get your systems in place, get it set in autopilot. Like, you want to pay yourself first, as Robert Kiyosaki says, and then spend what's left over, as opposed to spend and then save what's left. Because trust me, nothing's going to be left if you're switching the priorities. So essentially, it's part of the Millionaire Blueprint, where I'm helping people set up these basic accounts, and then once they're done with that, and if they still have enough income left over, then they can pivot to real estate. Then they can come to you, and I can obviously give them some basics on real estate. But if they want to do something more advanced, they can come over to you.
I mean, guys, he has real estate. He's just trying to be humble. He has dollars of real estate just with me. But there's a caveat to this. The program costs $1 million. Oh, I got you guys. So is there a website or anything people can check it out? We'll put it in the show links.
Mine is Elevated Recovery. We help individuals struggling with sexually compulsive disorders. And my relationship with Vivek was that...
Sexually compulsive disorder.
Yes, pretty much all sexually compulsive disorders here. But Vivek, one thing about Vivek and I actually never talk much in the group, right? Just kind of like, now we're hanging out together, everything cool. But I think it took time for us to get to know each other. But I remember this, and I think this is relevant for everybody here, was that I think... as friends, we are different, but we all talk about each other in a positive light, but also we bitch about each other and gossip about each other, but we get to do
We're like
that.
girls, guys.
We're just like, hey, you know what's
Did you
happening?
see what
Like,
happened?
Yeah.
You see Prashant's message? He doesn't even have Venmo, apparently.
That's all we do. We gossip with each other. Yeah. Everyone talking shit about each other.
He has
but
eight dating apps, but not Venmo.
But then the next week, you just give $100,000 to the other guy. I trust you with everything. But I don't trust your personal life. But here's $100,000. But I think that goes back to like trusting your friends and doing business with your friends.
Sure.
If your friends can talk shit about you and gossip about you, but they will simultaneously like die for you, give you money to invest in their family and stuff like that, I think that says a lot.
I mean, guys, if you see the amount of wires between me, Vivek, JK, and Drew, you will be like, this is not good. There
like
is
something's
no paper
happening
trail.
here. Yeah, something's happening.
Vivek sent me a Venmo request for $12.33. Also, send me $100,000 in cash for no reason to buy solar panels or some shit, right?
And now you're going to get audited.
$12.33 though.
Now you're going to get audited.
No, because Vivek is going to claim the solar panels on his credit.
No, I would say with Vivek would always ask me, it's just like, hey, how much is the business making now? Yeah. And just over the years, it's like, 8, 9 years, I would just slowly mention how things were going. And one thing I remember he would always ask me, right? You would tell me to invest in real estate, but when I first started, you didn't have that experience, but Vivek did before you. So Vivek would always be like, so what are you doing with your money, man? Like, where are you putting it? He just would naturally ask that. I used to ignore it. And I remember one time we sat down in Vegas. Yes. Everybody else is partying. And I still have that picture.
Yes.
And Vivek sits there.
I have the picture. It's outside of the club.
Yeah. He pulls out the app and he just starts educating me on this stuff. And I've never paid attention to anybody. But that's when I realized he's a good teacher because I have ADHD. So I never pay attention to anything. But he's so good at teaching and he's really passionate about teaching, about finances.
Did you set it up, the stock stuff?
No, on top, I didn't even set it up. So years later, like now I'm making like 10x what I was making back then. We're sitting in Greece, right? And he asked the same question. Hey, what are you doing with your money? And I was like, blah, blah. And he's like, just give me your phone. So he literally gives me the phone. And I put 40K in that account.
Finally,
So
I think I set that up in Tennessee. Is when I set that up. We were sitting in a restaurant.
Oh,
We're
Nashville.
sitting in a restaurant at Drew's birthday.
Yeah.
Drew's 35th or something.
In Nashville.
Nashville.
He takes my phone, he sets it up, and he's like, you set this up to put how much ever you want in there. And I set it up to put like $50 a week or something in there, but I hadn't fully set up the
Wait,
pie.
didn't we set up a whole life insurance too for you? Like,
Yeah,
okay.
I got the whole life insurance.
no.
I haven't finished setting up the trust.
Yeah,
That's
you
the
gotta set
problem.
that
Yeah. But I have a lot of other things set up, but thanks to you guys. My point is, I think Vivek is a guy who's worth learning from. And we even have some of our clients in our elevated recovery program who are starting to work with him and at a premium because this guy is very transparent. So he'll show you everything that's happening on his back end, very complicated ways of managing your money, and he'll sit down with you and he'll set it up with you.
Yes,
He'll set up the bank account. He'll go through your Roth. If you don't understand it, he's patient enough to explain everything to you step by step. So I highly recommend it. For somebody like me who is high income, who just thought all those things were boring, Vivek was the person.
Vivek, you
that
got
taught
an
me how to
email?
break it
People
down.
want to hit you up if they want to.
Yeah, you can hit me up at vivek.girisan@gmail. So that's
What about get to Vivek?
or get to Vivek with number 2. That's the cool one at hotmail.com.
Yeah.
But another thing I want to mention is that like my USP, like unique selling proposition is that it would cost you more to not work with me than to work with me. Like you're losing out on probably hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of your life by not working with me.
Yeah, I agree, guys. Yeah,
So that's
I would say hundreds of thousands of dollars working with him, and maybe 15 to 20 years down the line, millions by not working with Vincent. Literally, I will say that literally.
Guys, if you don't believe them, just listen to this episode where they were grilling me for the last 3 hours straight. I mean, they know some shit, right? All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Damn, it's a pretty good episode, huh?
yeah.
I don't know about you, but I definitely like to see 5-star reviews on any service or any product before I purchase. Please take a second to leave us a 5-star review, whether you're listening to it on Apple, iTunes, or Spotify, or whatever platform. Take a second, goes a long way, helps us a lot to grow the channel, and thanks for listening.